Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go!
What an instant classic between Canada and Czechia at the Olympic Games in Milan. And it was the depth players that get it done for Canada. Nick Suzuki tipping home a goal, getting by Dostal, who was outstanding in the net for Czechia, really kept them in the game. And then, of course, a lot of people questioning the goalie going into the tournament. Would Canada's goaltending stand up? Not this guy. Jordan Binnington of the St. Louis Blues, a Stanley Cup winner, the goalie for the Four Nations Championship, and he makes a breakaway save on Netjes, and then another save in overtime. Clear-cut chance when looked like McKinnon and McDavid screwed up their line change and were tired at the end of a shift. Backdoor play, and what happens? Binnington comes up big. And then, of course, Mitch Marner, who doesn't show up in the playoffs with the Leafs, but for Canada, he has been clutch. Four Nations overtime goal against Sweden. And then this one, 1-on-3, as Chris Cuthbert said, 1-on-3 for 93. Backhander over Dostal, and Canada survives and will play for a medal, but they're only playing for one medal, gold, as Canada narrowly survives a huge embarrassment. That would have rivaled probably, honestly, 1980 Olympics. Maybe not quite that bad because nobody thought the U.S. had a chance against the Russians, the Soviets back then. Czechia's got some accomplished NHL players, Pasternak, Radko Gudas, Kampf, Netjes. They've got some good players, Dostal and Net. They've got some good players on that team. But that would have been a huge embarrassment for Canada to go out in the quarterfinals. So kudos to Team Canada. McDavid once again flying around the ice. If it wasn't for him and Celebrini, they probably aren't even though they outshot Czechia, they probably are not winning that thing. Those guys were outstanding. McKinnon does not look 100%, and of course Crosby goes down on that hit by Gudas. Wasn't a dirty hit. We'll see if Sid can make it back for any of the games. Looked like maybe a knee or a groin there. We didn't get an update, and as I talked to you now, we don't have an update, but Canada survives. And hey, see if the women can take down the U.S. for hockey gold, although the U.S., the heavily favored team, it's amazing. Canada's gone with an older team for the women, and the Americans are rolling in the tournament. They've outscored their opponents, I think, 31-1, something stupid like that. So we'll see if Canada can win hockey gold. And yes, my earlier post that had some people up in arms, other people agreeing, I still think that it should be Canada and the U.S. for hockey gold, a best of three at the Olympics going forward until a couple other teams show they can be on the stage. And in fact, they should really consider taking women's hockey out of the Olympics. I know people are going to say, oh, what a dank thing to say. It's true. You got Canada and the U.S. There's never been like a Czechia women's team that has put the fear of God into anybody. Yes, Switzerland lost 2-1 to Canada, but by all accounts, the shots on goal were 48-11 or something stupid like that. There was, at no point did you think Switzerland was going to win that game. So until somebody can show me that they can compete with Canada and the U.S., why are we pretending? And I'm not going to back down from that. And everybody's like, well, this was shocking. Canada, they rolled through the preliminary round. They beat Czechia, who looked like they were just dopey that first matchup with Canada. Nothing like today. France. And who else did they beat? Switzerland? They didn't play anybody. They were playing rec hockey teams. Or at least two of the teams were rec hockey teams. That's why I wasn't getting wrapped up in the stats and everything like that. Now we're into the great play. All right. Coming up, we're going to hear from Pats assistant coach Ken Schneider and former Saskatchewan Rough Rider and Winnipeg Blue Bomber receiver now, Tommy Nield. I'll call him, I think they called him Touchdown Tommy Nield in Saskatchewan. I'm going to call him Title Tommy Nield. Title Tommy. Because Title Tommy has won a Grey Cup with Toronto twice and won one with the Riders now. I personally hope he can bring one to Winnipeg, to be honest with you. This is Ballsy Uncut. Hey Ken, so how are things holding up health-wise for your hockey team? It's the cold and flu season, and right now I'm battling it, but hopefully your team's doing okay.
Yeah, Michael, I'd say it's probably a couple weeks ago or more. We kind of had that going through the dressing room, and we had guys in and out of the lineup and missing practices, etc. But as of late, it's been pretty good, and we've kind of managed our way through that.
Yeah, so I was on the broadcast for the Moose Jaw game here last Friday. I've been really impressed with that Moore, Durkach, and Eglin line, and I thought that was Jace Eglin's maybe best game as a Regina Pat, at least that I've called that Friday game in Moose Jaw. I didn't see the Saturday one or the one in Swift Current. You guys won all three, and we'll talk about that. But I've been impressed with that line. I like those gritty guys. I like those shutdown guys, and then they start chipping in some points too.
Yeah, they've been really good, and we just kind of, I don't know if I'd say discover that line, but put those guys together. A game against Saskatchewan, that was a big win for us, and that line really played well in that game, and we've kind of kept them together ever since. And I agree, there seems to be some chemistry there. They're players of the same style, and they're a group of guys that we can kind of trust in tight games to manage the puck right, and we can use them against other teams' better lines, and so that kind of frees up some of our scoring lines to maybe take advantage of our opponent.
I'd like to see Reese Hamilton shoot the puck more.
I agree 100%, and he, by the way, has a rocket. We just don't see it enough. I do agree. He can really shoot the puck, and I think maybe some of that's just it's kind of Reese's personality a little bit. I believe he's willing to move the puck around, and uses his feet an awful lot in the game.
Yeah. Hey, and my favorite Pat is Ephraim McNutt. Just the way he plays an honest game. The game I called, he had a goal just leaking in from the blue line, came right up the middle. It wasn't the prettiest goal, but it was a gritty goal. But I just like how he plays. Talk about his leadership there and how important it is with this team that's had a bit of a makeover while still trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Ephraim came into our program a year ago, and he almost had an immediate impact on our team in terms of his leadership and his work ethic. He's in tremendous physical shape. He trains a lot off ice, and he's done a good job of taking care of his body because he's playing big minutes. So it's really important. But I think more importantly, it's just I think guys follow him because of the fact that how hard he plays and the leadership he provides us every night.
Each guy needs a role. What's your role? Like, what do you see your role as?
Well, being sort of the elder statesman in terms of the coaching staff, kind of been around an awful long time. I spent a lot of my lifetime in human resources in my previous life, and so I think for me it's really about communication and getting to know and understand our players and being available to them. Obviously I have other roles with the team in terms of the coaching aspect. In fact, tonight I'm coding a couple of games in preparation for the upcoming weekend. But I think that's for me probably one of my better attributes is that I can have that conversation with players, and if they're frustrated, I can be a bit of a buffer between head coaches and players, and I think that's important that they can express themselves, and we try to work out ways around that and how we can communicate better between each other.
So you're the elder statesman. That's what you said. Like I said, still looking good. Durkach and I were texting, and I said I'm interviewing Kenny here. He goes, "Oh, he's one of the greatest." I said, "Yeah, best guy ever." So, but you're the elder statesman. You're standing on the bench. Just talk about Brad Haroff and what kind of development you've seen from him. Because let's be honest, it hasn't been. He's had to go through some growing pains just like the team, and there's been lots of trades and lots of, Durkach comes in, Al Miller goes out, Haroff stays. But how have you noticed your colleague Brad Haroff develop as a head coach?
Yeah, it's, I give Brad a lot of credit. It's been a tough ride, to be honest with you, since he became the head coach here. Just with, like you said, all the player personnel movement and and then we were starting over virtually, and that's always difficult because at the end of the day you're still expected to win. And I think the one thing that you'll always get from Brad is that he's going to give it 100%, and he's a very competitive guy. He's very passionate, and I think sometimes he's misread, not only by the public but even by players, because he can get pretty fired up, and yet at the end of the day, and I know this personally, Brad's best interests are always in the hearts of the kids. He loves the kids, and he knows that we're all bring different aspects to the game, and that's sort of the softer, kinder side that I don't think a lot of people really get to see. And I think it's important that that aspect is recognized.
Hey, Ken, let's be honest. You guys are playing playoff. We were talking on the broadcast. If the Pats want to keep their playoff hopes alive, I said probably get 4 out of 6. You got 6 out of 6, 2 against Moose Jaw, 1 against Swift Current. So you set yourself up nicely. The job's not done. But you guys have been playing playoff hockey. Like, you're playing playoff hockey. So what are you liking about your club right now? Like, what's going right with the team?
Well, I think more recently just, we stay in games and we compete regardless of what the score is. And, we can get down a couple, we can get down 3. We can get down 3 a couple times in a game for that matter. Yeah, I think more than anything is just we're pretty resilient. I think we play fast. I think we get ourselves in trouble when we try to go back to our own zone with pucks and so on. Our game is really a north and south game. Get that puck from your own zone, get it headed up ice, and we've got some pretty good speed. We can get pucks in behind defenders, and once we get into the other team's end, we can be dangerous because we're pretty good on the forecheck, and we really pressure the opponent and get some good rotation down low and attack the opponent's net.
I don't care the sport. I'm more of a football guy, as you know, but I don't care the sport. There's a couple of things you can't teach as a coach. You can't coach speed. You either have it or you don't have it. And you can't coach. You can work on your speed, but you can't coach. The guy's either got it or he doesn't have it. So your team has speed, and you can't coach heart or resilience or scrappiness. Those are 2 things your team has. Now, will that be enough to carry you through a couple of rounds? Who knows? But I've said this right from day one. I love going to a Pats game because it's fun to watch. Whether you're down 3 twice in a game, it's not over. Like, you could be up 3-1 and all of a sudden, like the other night, Saskatoon comes back in Regina, wins 4-3 in overtime. Or you guys could be down 3-1 and then you come back a couple of times and beat Saskatoon 7-6 in their own barn. Like, I like that type of mentality from the team.
Yeah, I think you said it earlier tonight here. I think the real trick is we've kind of been in a playoff mode for a while now just because we're fighting to make the playoffs. And so every game is important to us, whether it's a conference game or a non-conference game. Like the couple we're going to play this weekend, we still have to be ready to play because we need to harvest every point we can. Red Deer's playing well since the trade deadline. They've made a couple of trades. They've got younger. They've got faster. So they're very competitive. Habby's got them really playing well. Moose Jaw is very explosive on their power play. They've got 4 or 5 people that are very good players and great goaltending, so you can never count them out. And I've always said it, even the likes of, Swift Current has been playing really good hockey as of late, been in 3 or 4 overtime games in the last, I think, 4 or 3 games. And so there's no easy game, and you really have to be ready to play every night.
Yeah, for sure. We've been spoiled here with Connor Bedard, and now we get Pugh and Maddox Schultz. Just your thoughts on those young guys. Now, listen, I don't want to put too much in those guys. Like, it's a pretty big stretch to just say, okay, this guy's just like Connor Bedard. But those kids, young kids, playing Patsies, playing Pats, they don't look out of place at all.
No, there's no argument there. I mean, it's very evident that they're more than capable. I wasn't here when Connor was 15, but obviously I was here when he was 16. I don't know that you can really, their games and styles are different, obviously, but the one thing that's common amongst all three guys is they're super competitive and they have lots of confidence. And when you have those two things come together, boy, that makes for dangerous hockey players.
Yeah. So I was texting back and forth a couple weeks ago with Chris Schlenker, and I said, "Oh God, do I feel old? I used to call your games when you were here, and now I'm calling your son's games." And we usually get him on a regular basis on the Access broadcast that we do. And I'll tell you what, we talked about resilience and scrappiness. That kid, I mean, hey, he's got to tighten up his game in some spots like everybody, but he's a young kid. But man, from the net out, he gives you that never give up attitude. I think that's really important for the goalie. He's kind of the anchor of your team.
Yeah, he's been a great pickup for us since we got him from Portland, he's a great person too. That's the other thing. He fits in the dressing room. The guys like him. He's respected by his other goalie mate in Tabby, and I think they get along really well. Work well with Max, and he's very athletic and he has great work ethic. So when he comes to the rink, he's going to come and give you his very best. Like all young goalies, it's there are times where it's a struggle. Last night, honestly, against Swift Current, I don't think we really blamed him for the first 3 goals. We were sleeping in front of him, so I think that's why Brad made the move to go elsewhere and then tried to bring him back into the game because he wanted to get him back in there as our starter and make sure that he stays confident in himself and we picked up our game in front of him.
Yeah, that's tough to be like the Grant Fuhr goalie where you can't let the 7th one in, right? Like, that's tough. It's tough. Grant Fuhr never had like the 1.92 goals against average, but if it was a 5-4 game, it would never be 5-5. He'd make that save.
Yeah, that's a really great analogy because that was a game out of the 80s, and very much you're right. You just never know when that big save might really mean something, and for us, we're not a high-scoring team. So, if we get into the 3-4 goal range of scoring, that could be, we need to be able to win at that point. So, yesterday was a little bit of a wild up and down racetrack type game, but I think some of that too, and not to make up excuses, but I think fatigue started to play a factor. I mean, 5 games in 7 nights. I mean, it's bound to happen. I mean, that's just natural.
Yeah. Hey, do you get tired of that? I've said you look good. You're aging like a fine wine, but you also said you're the older guy. 5 games in 7 nights for a coach. Does that wear on you a little bit at your age, bro?
Well, it does. If I'm being completely honest, it's because it's stressful. I mean, we all care and we're all working hard to, try to do as much as we can to help our team win. And, so it is, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun when, and somebody said the other day, I think maybe I was on Access and said that, that it's a lot more fun when you have an opportunity to make the playoffs than when you're out and it's only the beginning of February.
Yeah. Okay. Lastly, you just said honest, and I like you because you are honest. You don't really give me a lot of cliches. So I'm going to ask you this question: where you're sitting right now, are you honestly surprised after everything that's gone on with all the trades and moving guys out, your best scorer at the time, and all this stuff? Are you surprised where you're at, that you are firmly entrenched now in a battle for the playoffs? Like there's meaningful hockey right now towards the end.
I don't think so, to be honest. I think the core group of people that we had was always sort of capable to some degree. And I have to admit, I think our 2 young stars in Maddox and Liam have only helped us to, provide a little more offense, allow us to balance our attack a bit more. And, so I think that's been a factor. At the end of the day, I think, the teams that we kind of expected, there were some teams that we would be sort of in line with fighting for those spots, and that's how it's played out. It's the Red Deers, it's the Moose Jaws, it's the Lethbridges. So that's where we're at.
Okay, lastly, you'd be better at answer this question than me. Admittedly, I'm not the hockey expert, and this really hasn't been tried before, where you've got 2 guys that go up and 2 guys that go down, and then they go up. It's almost like an AHL recall. I know they're on a pitch count in the regular season, but is that off when you get to the playoffs? Like, they can only play so many games in the regular season, but if you make the playoffs, if you go out, like, they can play as much as you want them to play?
You know what? You're asking a tough question. I'm not sure I have the answer for you, to be honest with you, Michael. I know there's some rules around that as affiliate players and so on.
Yeah.
And I know that this is sort of.
It was just asked of me, so I'd wondered. I didn't know the answer to that question too.
Yeah.
That'll be a challenging thing too. It has a very Regina Red Sox feel to it. If you watch Regina Red Sox baseball, they're rolling, they're playing great, and they just won a championship. But in a lot of seasons, a lot of their guys just go back to college right before the playoffs start, and then they're hooped. I'm just wondering if that's kind of the same thing with you guys, and what do you have to do to tinker with that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think honestly, it's been a real trial and error year for this, and it's a brand new sort of thing that they're working on in terms of Hockey Canada and the CHL. So where this will go, I don't know. I think you'll probably see some sort of changes, in the future with just how this is played out, and maybe some more guidance or specific guidelines around it. It's hard. It's hard for the Patsies. It's hard for the Pats. And let's not kid ourselves. That's the reality of it when you have players, coming up and going down, and missing a Patsy practice, missing a Pats practice, and then of course there's the whole dynamic of your players, who they come to our program, and that means somebody has to sit, and that's hard. But I'll give it to those two young guys. They're wonderful guys. Like they're great teammates. They're easy to coach. They want to learn, and so I think that makes it a lot easier for our guys to say, hey, these two kids are really good, and they're our teammates, and we care about them, and I know they care about them. So it's a win-win for us, and I hope for the Patsies it is as well.
Well, Regina Pats hockey at Patsies hockey, very exciting hockey. Can't wait to see you guys continue on your quest for the playoffs. Good luck this week, okay?
Yeah, thanks a ton, Michael. It's been great talking to you tonight.
Tommy Nield, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Just back home in Guelph right now, and just finished a workout.
Awesome. So how long before after winning the championship, how long before you got back into working out?
I started at like the beginning of December, which is like pretty early this year. Like, I feel like I'm not really at that point. It's not the most intense stuff, but just kind of getting my body back into that shape, make sure I'm feeling good, and heal up any nicks and bruises from the season. And yeah.
I might have to. So what's your nickname? Do you have a nickname? I think somebody was calling you Touchdown Tommy here in Saskatchewan with your touchdowns, but I might call you Title Tommy. The title follows you around wherever you go here.
Yeah, it seems like that. I mean, I'll accept that one for sure too. Both nicknames work for me. I said it in another interview, but I'm like, there's a lot worse nicknames out there, so I can roll with both of those.
Yeah, you got to pinch yourself though. Some guys play their whole life and don't, let alone win a championship, let alone get to one. You've won 3. Does this last one mean more to you than the other 2, or is that kind of like picking maybe your favorite kids?
I mean, yeah, all of them are special for different reasons, but I think the last one definitely means a little bit more to me, just having a more active role on the team and being able to contribute in the way that I want to. So that one was special for sure, and just having all of Saskatchewan rally behind. You know how it is out there, out west, really. Winnipeg and Saskatchewan, just that fan base is different from any other team.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You go from what people would consider a hot fan base in Saskatchewan to probably the hottest one over the last 5-6 years, Winnipeg. So it's not like you're losing anything in that regard, right? It's not like you're going from Saskatchewan back to Toronto, where it's kind of dressed like a seat night and it's a good turnout most nights.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So it's always fun playing in Winnipeg as the away team just because of the environment now, but it's going to be even more exciting having that be my home stadium and having the fans there. They're cheering for us this time.
So hey, listen, you were a big contributor to the Rough Riders. I don't know if anybody no, don't take this any disrespect, but with Emelis and Kean Schaefer Baker and those kind of guys, I don't know if anybody thought Tommy Nield would be as big a contributor as he was. So with all that in mind, how tough was it to leave Saskatchewan to go to Winnipeg?
I mean, whenever there's a championship sort of team, it's hard to keep everyone. So I understand that part. And, those guys are key pieces and have been key pieces in Saskatchewan for a long time. So, I didn't have I didn't really know what to expect yet, but once I kind of, had heard or not really heard anything from Saskatchewan, I kind of just pieced it together. Like, I'm probably not going to be back here. So, when Winnipeg showed their interest, it just felt like it was a great fit, and it's going to be like a smooth transition.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Tommy, what made Winnipeg appealing besides the fan base? Listen, guys. A lot of guys like the BS and say, I don't pay attention to the fans. I don't pay attention to the media. But it's always nice to play where it matters and where, good or bad, people know who you are. But besides that, what made Winnipeg appealing to you?
I mean, I've just heard from other guys who have played there around the league that it's a great locker room. People kind of describe it as like a special place to play. And it seems like that from an outsider looking in. And just the vibe. They're always a playoff contender or Grey Cup contender, so that's important to me. And they just play as like a team. It seems like everyone kind of gels well together, and when you have that sort of teamwork and camaraderie with your teammates, usually good things happen. So all that stuff combined, and having an opportunity to, I know they potentially want to go 2-3 Canadian receivers starting. So having an opportunity to play a bunch there, all that stuff combined is what made it appealing.
Hey, Tommy, just describe your game for me. Like, I know how you play. I've watched the game for years. I've seen you since you've joined the league and even back in youth sports. But like this year, how did your game go to the next level? Was it just a sense of opportunity and a chance to prove yourself, or did you do something different this year? Because you really did come on the scene for Trevor Harris and the gang this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I really did anything different than throughout I've done. I've stayed kind of true to my process, and just it's a matter of being given the opportunities, I feel like. And once I kind of had a solidified starting role and I'm getting consistent starting reps in practice and building that connection with Trevor and the other QBs, it's like once you get to game day, you've had all the reps in practice. It's kind of slowed down for me, and it just made game day like you're playing free and playing fast. So I think just having the opportunity and more reps in practice is what made a big difference.
Well, might be a little weird for you playing in the Labor Day Classic this year. Hey, listen, as a guy who was a broadcaster for the Rough Riders and a fan of the Rough Riders, it was certainly different for me to wear a Blue Bomber uniform and watch the game from that side. So it might be a little bit different for you this year. That'll be kind of cool, the whole Banjo Bowl Labor Day thing.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be flipped sides for both of them. So it's gonna be. I'm excited. Those games are so much fun, and you just. Like, those are definitely ones you remember.
Hey, so you had the honor and the privilege of playing with Trevor Harris, who had a great year and a veteran quarterback, and you get a chance to play with another great in Zach Collaros. Let's just talk about that for a second. Listen, the title follows you around, and you get to play with stud quarterbacks too.
Yeah, playing with Trevor last year was awesome. He's just a great person, great leader. Learned a whole bunch from him, and I've spoke with Zach a few times too, and seems pretty similar over there. So I'm just grateful I get to work with both those guys and learn from them. Obviously, they've been in the league for a while and had both had great careers to this point. So just being I still consider myself like a younger receiver, so just being able to learn from those veteran guys is cool for sure.
Well, but reliability, big touch, big plays in the West Final for you. Seemed Trevor Harris when he needed a key first down. He was looking for Tommy Nield. Do you wear that kind of as a badge of honor, being like almost like that? And I don't mean to take this as a negative comment, but like that security blanket. When that quarterback needs something, he's going to go to 83.
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely something I take pride in, is just making sure the quarterback trusts me and that I trust him. We're on the same page. And like I said, that stuff is built throughout the week in practice and in the meeting room when you guys are watching film and it's like, all right, just the quarterback, Trevor is talking to me how he sees something and just making sure that we're on the same page. So when it happens on the field, we both know what we're going to do. So, I'm excited to, build that sort of connection with Zach as well.
And lastly, you talked about learning. It's always about learning and getting better. You're also pretty fortunate. You get to go to a team with Nick Dembski, who has, people talk about the best Canadians receivers in the CFL, and sometimes he kind of gets pushed to the middle of the pack. And, this guy consistently puts up 1,000. I'm excited to see him.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've been following Nick and watching him since I got into the league. So again, that's another veteran guy that has had a great career to this point. So just seeing how he operates on a day-to-day thing in practice and stuff is going to be cool to see, and definitely excited to learn from him as well.
Well, as a Blue Bomber dad right now, I am hoping that Title Tommy brings a title. So good luck, man.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm hoping for the same thing, man. So let's get it done.